Okay, welcome back one and all to what is the final round of the tournament. And if you guys missed the last round, I was playing against the CM and I took a loss. And really strong player. Go watch that video, it's super interesting. And in this video, we are facing a 1471. I've never played this opponent before. And all I need to do is score a win here, and I am successfully in third spot, walking away with cash money, so you'll have to see it. So hopefully everything goes well. So what happens is I get to the table, shake my opponent's hand, and I open with knight f3, my natural. So knight f3, and I took a look at her games beforehand, and in every single game against this she plays knight c6, and lo and behold, she goes for knight c6 as well. And she was playing really well in the other games, so I wanted to set up some prep for her. And yeah, she was scoring really well as well for 1471. Mind you, that is not her actual rating, because like I've mentioned in the past, in my city there was a major problem with FIDE and the organization here in Brazil, and because of that there weren't any tournaments happening, so for a long time everybody's rating was paralyzed, so she didn't get a chance to actually climb her rating to what it should be. But she plays knight c6 here. I go d4, and this is kind of what I prepped out, and she goes d5. Again, this is everything that I've seen from her games. And so the problem with these positions here for black, in my mind, is that in these queen pawn positions, it's ideal that you have the c and d pawns together, right? You have these pawns together, and in black's position what happens is that the knight ends up blocking this pawn, so this pawn can no longer advance, and that is kind of a problem that black has to deal with, and white can take advantage of it by actually joining the pawns. And you see, this is known as the Chigorin Defense, and if you think about it, the fact that you can't play c5 properly is a huge deal, because in many positions you'd love to play c5, and what I tend to play most of the times are Catalan positions, and if you can't play c5 in the Catalan, then really black doesn't have much of a game plan in my mind. So I just go for g3 here and get the basic Catalan setup, which is so bishop g2, knight f3, and these two pawns. This constitutes the Catalan setup, and this is a really powerful opening. I love this opening, it's my favorite of all time, and so I'm just going to play what I'm good at. And it's even better because black has made an inferior move, which is knight c6, so this tends to work out really well for the white pieces. So I'm really happy at this point that we got this. I'm really feeling comfortable here. So I just play a few more natural developing moves, castles, and here I have many plans. I could go for knight c3 here, just developing. I could go for b3, I could go for queen c2, and all of these are natural moves in the position. I wouldn't play queen c2 because of d takes c4. I'd have to play queen takes c4 to secure my d4 pawn, so that seemed like it wasn't as good. Knight c3, d takes c4 also. Sure, it's a good position, but I don't feel like there's any need to allow black to have the possibility of gaining a pawn, because I think that black would be much worse if I just played the normal setup. So if I play something like b3, which I do, and just control the center some more, support my pawn on c4, then it really highlights this problem here. So everything I'm doing is around this problem, which I've pointed out. And she goes knight a5, and knight a5 for me again is another imprecision. Of course it has an idea, but to me it's very simplistic. The idea is you're hitting this pawn and you're threatening to win a pawn like this. The problem is I have a one move solution, which is queen c2. Now queen c2 does make sense because c4 is properly supported, right? And yeah, here I was really comfortable. All I have to do now is play something like knight bd2, bishop to b2, and break open with e4. If I manage to get this set up here with bishop to b2, knight bd2, and play e4, my position is going to be amazing because I'm going to have everything I could have wanted. I'm going to have huge control of the center. I'm going to have two very nice fianchettoed bishops, and all my pieces are developed, while white still has some problems to figure out, like where's this knight going to move to? Like, what's it doing on the edge of the board? What's this bishop doing, blocked in by the pawn chain, and how is this going to be significant in the game? Also, because of this rook tends to not be that great. So there are some really big problems here for the black pieces in my mind, so this is really pleasant. And black makes an imprecision, or better yet, a mistake, and plays c5. So c5 is very natural in these Catalan positions, but the problem is that these pieces are just so uncoordinated. They don't really make that much sense. Usually c5 comes beforehand, and then knight f3, knight c6 comes. So for this reason, you've kind of wasted the tempo, like 1, 2, 3, when it could have been 1, 2, you see? So this to me is inferior, and it just doesn't work tactically if you think about it, because there's some tension in the center, but white is definitely more capacitated to handle the tension in the center. So try and figure out what white plays here, and if you found the move, very well done. It is d takes c5. So the bishop moves once, and then the bishop would have to move a second time to capture this pawn, and this wouldn't be as great, but it's just necessary because you played c5, and you kind of have to capture the pawn back now, otherwise your position will be way too much to handle. And she doesn't do it. She plays d takes c4, which is the mistake. So c5 was an imprecision, and d takes c4 was the mistake in and of itself, because now I'm not obligated to capture back. I can play the very interesting b4 here, and b4 supports my pawn here on c5. It kicks the knight on a5 away, so this is really why this knight was poorly placed, and now it's going to get kicked around. Not just that, but after knight c6, which is forced, I just have queen takes c4, and I'm up a solid pawn. And having this majority on the queen side so pushed up, my bishop aiming at this queen side, and like my queen is very active, my rook can get active really quickly with tempo on the queen, my knight can get active really quickly and make some major threats here on the queen side and the center. So everything looks amazing here to me. I'm just up a solid pawn, and I can easily win from this position, so I'm really comfortable here. I'm really happy with what happened. a6 is even further of a mistake. And a6 is a mistake because, like I've said in the past, it is not a good idea to push your minority. It's always good to keep your minority as far back as possible, because if you do end up pushing your minority, what happens is you're facilitating your opponent's plans of creating a pass pawn, you see, because if these are 3 on 2, if we simplify it down and trade this for this, this for this, white is left with a pass pawn here. And if you push these up super quick like this, then it's just making white's life easier, because all white has to do now is play a4, b5, and that's practically a pass pawn because knight is hit with tempo, and then we can play something like defend the c6 square one more time and then push up, and that would look really good. So a6, not a good move. I need to figure out what to do here, and I play knight c3 here. The idea of knight c3 is I need to finish my developments. That's always key, guys. Even though I have a strategic advantage on the queen side, I need to still develop and play principally. So knight c3 is the ideal development here because it allows for rook d1. So this knight from c3 defends the d1 square, which allows even more development. So everything is being maximally efficient here. And she goes ahead and plays knight d5, which is a fine move. You're blockading and you don't allow for rook d1 to come off tempo on the queen. And you have ideas of bishop f6, aiming on the diagonal, which I haven't defended yet. And it adds pressure on the b4 pawn, so you're threatening b4 twice. I need to defend it, so my plan is to play rook d1, and I still think rook d1 is a really good move. And the reason because I think rook d1 is really good is because now this knight is pinned, and even though I'm not winning tempo on the queen, I'm creating threats of playing e4, and I'm also defending this tactically, so this is now defended, which is what I wanted. So, okay, I go rook d1, she goes queen e8, stepping out of that, and now the pawn is threatened again. So b4 is now under attack, I need to defend it, rook d1, sorry, rook b1, and now it's all defended. I could also play a3, which is much more simpler, and maybe I should have played that in retrospect, but I think rook b1 is it's a brain-off kind of move, basically, because you defend the pawn, and at the same time, you're stepping off the diagonal. So, like I mentioned, black has ideas of bishop f6, which she does play. So, this is just one more thing that was important to think about, because now I can easily defend this pawn and not have to worry about my rook being on a1. So, this was really good for me. And here I have to come up with something because my knight is being attacked twice. I need to defend it twice as well. Some things that I was considering was rook to b3. I was also considering knight a4, knight e4. I don't think I considered rook to d3. I don't think I gave that any thought. Yeah, maybe rook b3 was a bit inferior because of knight c takes b4. Yeah, now that I look at it, that's the reason why I didn't play rook to b3. So, basically the moves I have here are knight a4 and knight e4. So, what I was thinking for knight a4 was I'd find a really good way to take advantage over this b6 square and just have a very strong knight here and keep my rooks open, so this file open for my rooks. And the idea for knight e4 was first I threaten to simplify the position and gain a very powerful bishop here. If I control the dark squares in conjunction to these pawns being here, that is strategically close to winning here for me. So let's just say knight e4, bishop e7. I had the idea of playing knight into d6, and if bishop takes knight, c takes d6, then I have a passed pawn, and that looks really good for me. I can defend it with maybe an e4, e5 push, and just control the whole board. So that was the idea for knight e4, and I ended up opting for knight a4. Yeah, knight a4 here, and it's the inferior move because of what happens later on in the game, but let's just say I did go for knight e4, bishop e7, all I have to do is a3. I'm not in a hurry to rush. That doesn't make sense. I'm not in any hurry here, because basically what's happening is I'm gonna have a solid position no matter what. I'm not in any like crazy attacking mood, or I shouldn't be. In the game I was, which is why I play a4, but knight e4 is just way more solid. If you try and get counterplay with black and go for something crazy like f5, then now I do play knight d6, and after bishop takes, I'm gonna play pawn takes, and look at this very weak diagonal here. Your king is completely exposed here. e6 is a major weakness, your queen side is a major weakness, and everything is out of control. Black really isn't developed, and you have traded off most of your active pieces. Let's just say takes, and your only two active pieces are your knights, but they don't really have any game plan. They're not doing much except being on the board. Your bishop on c8 also not very good. Rook kind of trapped in, and this would be very much a sad time here. I'll just have a field trip in this position. I go knight a4, and I saw knight e5, which is the follow-up that she opts for. And this is where everything goes downhill. this is where I take a spill. So knight e5. The idea is that now the knight moves, attacks my queen, and the queen attacks this knight. I didn't have to do anything extraordinary here in this position. I can't go queen b3 because if I go queen b3, then knight takes queen takes a4, queen takes a4, knight into c3, attacking my queen. And wait, what? That would sack the queen. That doesn't work. Yeah, so queen b3 does kind of work. Okay. What I decide to play here is knight takes e5, queen takes a4, and let me mention something. There's something I didn't mention. So way back here, when I play d takes c4 and I play b4, my opponent starts coughing incredibly hard for every 10 seconds. So for 10 and 10 seconds she was coughing. She wasn't choking on water or anything. She didn't have a cold from what I could tell, and she was just coughing just to try and distract me. So this was really disrespectful to me in my mind. So you're in a losing position and you're going to try and distract your opponent by coughing. This to me was just really enraging for me. Like, I was pissed at this because why would you do such a thing? Like, you need to learn to lose. You need to know how to win. You need to learn how to lose. That's just how life works, you know. So I was really upset at this. And when I play knight takes e5 and queen takes, she starts coughing really intensely, and I'm super pissed off at this because I'm super ADHD and I have problems with concentrating and stuff like this. So I'm just like, okay, what's the best continuation? How am I gonna like blow this girl off the chessboard? She was around 18 years old, so I don't think someone with 18 years should be acting this way. It's kind of childish in my mind. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna destroy her. And through my pure blinded rage, I played knight g4, which is a huge blunder. You guys probably see it. She saw it a mile ahead, and she just instantly, like, quickly moves and plays queen takes d1. Yeah, I just hung a full rook. And this is like, okay, this position here is +4 for me. Sorry, this position is +4 for me. And this position now is -13. That's how bad of a position this is. So, yeah, really painful, man. Really, really painful to lose such a good game and for just something so stupid. What I should have done is just bishop f4, which is the move I saw. So bishop f4 was always my plan, and then my follow-up was going to be knight g4. For some reason I thought in my mind through my distraction that knight g4 could have come first. And the idea is that if she plays g5, now knight g4 is a very good move. Let's just say she takes my bishop. I'm going to sack the rook here, and after she takes, knight f6 check, king h8, followed by mate threat. So how are you going to stop this mate on h7? It's not really clear. The only move you could try here is to play king g7, but after king g7, just queen d4, and that's discovery. Your queen is severely misplaced. I have super active pieces. My bishop's about to open up, and it's just going to be GG. But your boy blunders like an imbecile. And queen takes d1, bishop f1 is necessary, queen d4 asking for a queen trade. I'm forced to take this bishop first just so I don't have to trade my queen off, because the alternative if I move my queen is just queen takes g4, and that loses another piece. So trade down, bishop attacking the queen, trying to get some sort of counterplay on these diagonals. Queen e7, I go for e3. I don't want to play e4 because that would close up the diagonal. I want to play just e3 so that my bishop can come to d3 and have a very nice scope over here like this. So this would be my attacking idea. And I do kind of have to play in this attacking way now because I'm just down too much. If the position stabilizes, then she's just going to win. So bishop d7, bishop d3, and I bishop b5, which is super strong of a move because it's forcing a trade here no matter what I do. I try and play just a cheeky move here, queen d4, and try and get something going like this, and it's just not going to work out. Knight f6 defends it, bishop moving back, trying to maintain the bishop pair. Rook comes over, natural development, and trying to play for that queen side. I at least have threats of bishop takes f6 and something, but even that doesn't work out. She just goes bishop d3, and it forces the trade because can't move my bishop, I lose the rook, can't pin the bishop, can't do anything on the queen side, can't take on f6. It's just a disaster, so I'm forced to take, and this is basically where my hopes and dreams end. This is resignable for sure. I'm not a guy to resign, but I have come to find out that it is good to resign if you just feel like there's absolutely no counterplay to be had. This is just me hoping for a mistake, and it's not really the best thing to do that, to hope for a mistake. So here, just trying to hold on. I didn't resign, maybe I should have, but this is just me trying to, in a very frustrated way, make something happen. It doesn't happen. She queen trades, which is perfect for her, and yeah, there's no way that white could ever win this strategically without black making a mistake. So yeah, just playing a few more moves out, trying to hold everything together. It's just not happening, and once she manages to take this pawn, I have no majority left, and I just resign here. So heartbreaking end to the tournament, guys. I was doing so well. It was my best tournament yet, and it's just a shame to go out like this. I didn't win any cash money. What I won was enough to pay for the gas that I spent to get to the tournament, so that's basically it. And yeah, so I should probably tell you guys my rating now, because I have played enough games to form my rating, and after this game my rating came out. So this is the problem. The problem is that someone was really lazy when posting the results for the games, and they posted the result too late before the FIDE ratings came out for the month, and so the ratings got pushed a month back. So I didn't know what my rating was for a very long time, and it was only after this game that my rating did come out, and what my rating ended up being is 1683 or something. So I'm at the 1600s, which is really unfortunate, and it's because of these losses that it's because of a loss against the 1400, it's because of losses against 1700, it's because I drew a 1600, so, or was he? No, he was 1500. So all of these factors contributed to me having a super low rating. This is not what I expected to get out of any beginning of a FIDE rating. So, but guess what? My rating is super low, and that's just what it is. So I'm gonna play, and I'm gonna drop everyone's rating to the ground because I'm gonna beat everybody now. I'm just super dedicated. Something lit up in me, man. Some kind of fire and passion just makes me want to get to my goals, you know. So the further down, it kind of helps us like having super fuel in my tank, so this is okay in a way. So yeah, you guys stay tuned for the next episode, and it will take some time because in my city there's not going to be any tournaments till June. So yeah, I'm waiting on that. So after June I'll continue this series, and in the meantime I'm going to be making more content. So if you guys want to see some specific sorts of content, let me know in the comments. And yeah, I do have tons of videos planned out. I'm not just going to be posting videos about my chess career. I'm also wanting to post videos helping you guys get better at chess, which is my main goal. In every end of the video I say, hope you guys found this interesting and learned something, because that's my main goal. I want you guys to learn something, and I want to help people get better at chess. Like I said in the past, I'm a chess coach, so primarily that's my goal, is teaching and getting people better at chess. So I have some series planned out. My next series will probably be a run on Lee chess. I'm going to be climbing the ladder from 1,000 to 2,000 rating or something. So that's a video that I plan on making. So stay tuned, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys learned how not to blunder, and I'll see you guys next time, okay?